There's a turnip in the bottom of the garden, and it's ready for the kitchen pot. There's a turnip in the bottom of the garden, and it's ready for the chop, chop, chop. But it's no use, that turnip is resisting. I need some friends to lift this crop. I've got a story for you about a turnip. And the story takes place in the Green Mountains of Vermont. How I miss Vermont. During the course of a normal year, I would be visiting Vermont several times. I would always go up in July to celebrate my granddaughter Marjamie's birthday. And once again in October to celebrate Juniper's birthday. I like to go up in the winter to snowshoe and ski, and in the summer to jump in one of those crystal clear, ice cold mountain lakes, and to bicycle the back roads. But this year, with the pandemic, I can only visit Vermont here. So what I'd like to do is share a story of something that happened to me one year while I was in Vermont visiting my daughter and her family. I was sound asleep. It was early morning when I was awakened by a sound, some singing. It was ethereal, magical, mystical. As I opened my eyes, I thought, could this be? Might this be one of the fairy folk that I have heard so much about? I got up and looked out the window. It wasn't a fairy folk. It was my daughter, Katie, standing in the garden, and she was pulling on something and singing. Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up, 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 come on up. And then she stood there with her hands on her hips. She faced the house. Brian! Her husband, Brian, came running. What's the matter? What's the matter? Are you okay? I'm fine. I just need this turnip out of the ground. Brian looked a little confused. Turnip? Yes. I must have mashed turnips for supper tonight. Well, Brian, being the good guy that he is, hung on to Katie, and Katie grabbed that turnip, and together they pulled and tugged and sang. Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up, 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 come on. The turnip didn't budge. So Brian called out, May, wake up, wake up. Well, May came running out of the house. What's the matter? What's the matter? Is there a fire? What's the matter? No fire. We just need your help. Help with what? This turnip won't come out of the ground. We need you to help us. Turnip? May looked at her mother and her father as if they were Crazy. But nevertheless, she put her arms around Brian. Brian put his arms around Katie. Katie grabbed that turnip, and together they pulled and tugged and sang. Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up, 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 come. Turnip didn't move. So May turned to the house. Hey, Gramps, wake up, we need you. Well, I was already up. I threw on a pair of jeans, put on a shirt, and I ran out. I'll help you get that turnip out of the ground. So I held on to May. May held on to Brian. Brian held on to Katie, and Katie grabbed that turnip, and together we pulled. And we sang, come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up, up, up. Turnip didn't move. So I called out, "Juniper! Hey, Junebug! Junie, come on, wake up, wake up!" Junie came outside rubbing her eyes. What's going on? It's so early. What are you guys doing? I said, "Junie, we need your help to get this turnip out of the ground." And Junie looked up at me. "Turnip?" She looked at me as if I were Crazy. But nevertheless, Junie hung on to me. I hung on to May. May hung on to Brian. Brian hung on to Katie. Katie grabbed the turnip. And we pulled, and we tugged, and we sang. "Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up. Up, up, come on up." Nope. Well, just then, one of the goats came prancing by. And Junie said, "Hey, Yagi, come on and help us." Yagi looked at us a little bit suspiciously, as if we were all, well, you know, Crazy. But then Junie said, "Yagi, if you help us, we'll give you the turnip top." So, Yagi was interested in that. And Yagi grabbed onto Junie. And Junie grabbed onto Gramps. Gramps held on to May. May held on to Brian. Brian grabbed onto Katie. Katie held on to that turnip top. And we began to pull and tug and sing, "Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up. Up, up, come on." Nope. Well, Yagi looked up the hill and saw his brother. "Hey, Yugi, come here!" And Yugi came running down with his head down. "No time for headbutting now. If we help out, we'll get some turnip tops." Yugi grabbed onto Yagi. Yagi grabbed onto Junie. Junie grabbed onto Gramps. Gramps held on to May. May held on to Brian. Brian grabbed onto Katie. Katie grabbed onto that turnip, and together we pulled, we tugged, we sang, "Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on." Nope. Well, just then, who should come scampering down around the yard, running helter-skelter but one of the chickens? And that's when Juniper said, "Hey, Morning Glory, come here and help us." Morning Glory looked at us. She didn't want any part of this crazy line of people and goats. But Junie enticed the chicken. "If you help us, Morning Glory, you'll get some turnip skins." Turnip skins! Morning Glory came running over, hung on to Yugi. Yugi hung on to Yagi. Yagi hung on to Junie. Junie held on to Gramps. Gramps held on to May. May held on to Brian. Brian held on to Katie. Katie held on to that turnip, and we began to pull and tug and sing. And maybe, just maybe, if you sing along, it might just help. You know the lyrics. Come on, turnip, come on up. Ready? Come on, turnip, come on up. Come on, turnip, come on up. Up, up, come on. Whoosh. With a giant whoosh out of the ground came that turnip. And Katie fell down. Brian fell down. May fell down. I fell down. Junie fell down. Yagi and Yugi fell down. And Morning Glory fell down. And we all sat there on the ground looking at the biggest, the most enormousest, the most deliciousest, the most incrediblest looking turnip in all of Vermont. And Katie sat there and she smiled. "We're gonna have mashed turnips for supper tonight." And we did. And I'm glad to say that we are all living happily ever after. There was a turnip in the bottom of the garden, and it was ready for the kitchen pot. There was a turnip in the bottom of the garden, and it was ready for the chop, chop, chop. And I'm so glad when that turnip was resisting, I had some friends to lift that crop. I hope if you ever have a stubborn turnip in your life, you find lots of friends to help you.